Welcome to a learntolearn.org podcast. We are here to support your learning, taking off the limits that we have accrued to our learning and adding in those ingredients that we've learned from world-class learners that have made them the best, so that we can each update our own programming and become the best learners that we can be. We're really glad that you're here to share some time with us. We hope that this brings you exactly what you need today to better engage in your life and your learning.
We here at Learn to Learn have spent a lot of time thinking about what would be most helpful to you, because we want to deliver things that are the most useful, that will make the most possible difference in your life. In thinking about this, what we recognize is that one of the best ways to know that is to look at some of the people that we've had a chance to work with over the many years that we've been doing such things, and see what are the qualities that the most successful people exhibit consistently. What do they have in common? And when we look back over some of the very, very high-end CEOs and top-achieving athletes, top-achieving academics, and so on, is that one of the qualities that they all have is this intense tenacity, that no matter what happens, no matter how well things go, or particularly no matter how poorly things go, they hold on. They keep focused. They keep moving forward. They keep persevering in a way that lets them eventually arrive at their goals, no matter what stood in the way. Some of the very top CEOs that we've worked with, CEOs that run Fortune 100 companies, have told us that when they were in high school, let's say, they did not do very well as a student. They just didn't catch on, but they persevered and they really buckled down and made sure that they stayed at their studies. They knew that there was a goal that they were going for. They knew that there was a sense that things could be much better for them, and they stayed the course. So we want to talk about that. And we're going to spend, a couple podcasts or so exploring this area and seeing if we can lay it out for you in a way that can make being really tenacious much easier for you, that you can understand why and that you can get the results that you want. We know somebody can be born with all of the capacities, all the potential in the world, and if they don't consistently tenaciously engage, that those talents, those potential skills, those qualities won't necessarily get developed. Let's think about a couple examples. Let's say we have somebody that has incredible skills, capacity at learning languages, but they never really engage in the process. They don't expose themselves to multiple languages. They don't take the classes that they need. They just have the capacity. Well, they're not going to end up having a vast array of languages. Or let's use it from another area. Somebody has a lot of athletic capacity, but they never work out. They never go out for a sport. They don't apply themselves, and they don't develop what could be an incredible capacity for them to be very good at one or more sports. Let's use another example. We think about a friend of ours who is a world-renowned surgeon. This surgeon completed his MD in his early 20s. So clearly he's very bright, but incredibly tenacious. Really held a focus intensely and did not get distracted, and now has become world-renowned. Probably many of us in the audience would go, yeah, but I don't have that kind of capacity. Now, if we tell the story from the other side, we start to find that there are numbers of people in those same areas who would have described themselves as having limited capacity, but were incredibly tenacious. They just insisted that they were going to get to be good at whatever it was that they were doing, whether it was a sport, learning languages, doing academics, whatever their area, they just held that focus and did not get distracted and became just as good. We think about another colleague of ours who became a very well-known surgeon, head of the state surgical society, and on and on and on. And he wouldn't have described himself as particularly gifted, but he was really tenacious and stayed at it and persevered and got to the top of his field. And we can give example after example that way. We've heard from so many athletes that their gift was that they outworked everybody else. And even the ones that were gifted, that rose to the top of their field, would say the same thing, that that was their superpower, that they just outworked everybody else. So how do we get to that? How do we develop that kind of focus? How do we get to that sort of tenacity if we're maybe a little discouraged, underperforming, or just want to go further than we've gotten so far? So let's take a look at some of the qualities to develop that lead to being so tenacious. And then in subsequent podcasts, we'll go into how to develop each one of these qualities and what the outcomes of that are going to be. So right at the top of the list, as we've already mentioned, is perseverance. This is more than just an intense interest in something. We have to have an enduring commitment to a specific goal and stay at it over a long period of time. Developing perseverance is something that we can do. And again, we'll get to that. Next, we have to have passion that drives that perseverance. So many people tell us, well, I don't have something that I'm that passionate about. Again, when we study people that do have that kind of passion, many of them explored several things before they found the thing that just really gripped them, the thing that they committed themselves to that was so interesting, so engaging that they could really focus on it and stick with it. So you don't have to have that ready-made. It is often a result of exploration over time. The next quality we need is consistency. Tenacity really means that we are consistent day in and day out. This doesn't mean, we're just working hard now and then. We have to do it regularly. Even when things aren't going well, we have to build the habits, build the routines that can support the goals that help us maintain the consistency. Then next, we have to have a growth mindset. Now, a lot of people will say, well, this is just who I am, this is how I am, and they just stick with that definition of themselves. Their self-concept is basically stuck. People with a growth mindset really have this sense that I can develop. They're a lot like a tree. It starts out as a little shoot, and it doesn't go, well, that's it, this is all I am. It keeps growing. It keeps moving forward. So people with this growth mindset do the same. It involves really embracing our challenges. They persist when they run into setbacks, into alleged failures, as we've talked about before. And they keep moving forward towards that greater vision of who they can be. And our fifth quality is courage. They have to develop the courage to pursue goals in spite of being afraid of the failures or falling short in some kind of way. So these are the areas that we're going to explore in our upcoming podcasts. But we wanted to give you an overview, and that if we develop these, anything becomes possible for us. Again, what we have seen in working with and interviewing people that have been exceptionally successful is these are the qualities that they have. They are tenacious. They don't give up. They keep moving forward. We imagine you've heard these stories as well. What we're going to do in our upcoming podcast is show you how to develop these and where it will take you. So stay on board, come back next week, and we'll go further with this. In the meantime, think about these qualities and how you can develop them and how you can apply them in your life.
Thank you for listening. Our purpose is supporting your capacity to learn and to attain all that you can imagine. We hope you use the perspectives and exercises that we have shared. Feel free to send us questions, ideas, experiences that might benefit our listeners via learntolearn.org, learn-to-learn.org. Finally, please help others by sharing our link with your friends, family, and other loved ones, since how you learn is how you live.